How to use this course. This course is organized into 9 modules, also known as study units. Their names are shown on the course map, where each module is represented by an oval. The course map shows each of the modules in the course and indicates which modules must be completed before others are begun. Modules should be completed from the bottom up. A module should not be studied until all of the modules, with arrows pointing to it, have been completed.
That was pretty good. I
Let's just like barrel through.
It's riveting radio. What is that? What is that you're reading there, Steve?
This is the VAX-11 instruction set student guide from Digital Equipment Corporation, copyright 1978.
Copyright 1978. Oh, it's older than you.
Older than me.
Older than you.
But not older than you.
Not older than me. Not older than me. But interesting. Now, where did we ever dig up such a thing? What did we have to go to the library or the National Archives or where did we find this?
You mean the Clark Archives? The Clarkives.
The National Clarkives. That could be a thing. The National Clarkives. I mean, because our surname is based off of the word clerk, which is pronounced Clark in the United Britishdom.
The UK?
The UK.
All
UK.
right.
They call a clerk a clerk.
Okay.
And so the clerks were the smart people, the learned people, right? And so if there were going to be an archive named after somebody, named after anybody out there, it wouldn't be the Trump-kive, not the National Trump-kive.
Then what would it be, Chris?
The National Clarkive.
Oh.
I don't know. Would there be a National Woodbury-kive, and what would there be?
Chives? I don't know. What?
The look on your face is...
It's too many syllables. You can't have like a Woodbury chive.
The National Steve chive?
Steve chive. I don't like chives. They're too oniony.
Yeah. I don't know. I like sour cream and onions, which I think like potato chips, which if they were still being flavored naturally, would probably be chives.
There's sort of a push nowadays for natural flavoring.
Yeah. You know what I discovered yesterday? I was at a barbecue and
a BBBQ?
A BBBQ.
Okay, hold on. For those down south, was it a cookout or was it a barbecue?
It was a cookout.
All right.
I'm sorry. We were at a cookout yesterday, and my wife, who generally doesn't let the kids have soda, she was letting them have an A&W, a root beer. And I, for whatever reason, looked at I was looking up where root beer came from. I was like, why is it called root beer?
Came from the root of the penis.
Yes. That was not the type they were having.
Oh, good.
The root beer, right? So root beer having to do with the sarsaparilla root or the sassafras root. One of the two.
You got any of that good sarsaparilla?
Now,
Sioux City sarsaparilla. That's a good one.
My kids were my daughter Kaylee was immediately, as soon as she saw me take out my phone, I think she was the one that said, "Ugh, do you have to look up everything?" And I was, yes, as a matter of fact, I do. I like to be smart, and so I looked it up.
Or you like to be smart through your phone.
I like to be smart through my. Hey, knowing where to look for something is a certain kind of smartness.
Okay,
it's a certain kind of wisdom to knowing where to.
A little bit
research.
later, I'm going to ask you a question. And you're going to have to find it out by looking it up online.
All right.
Tune in, folks, for the whole show. If you download it, I think it's fine. I think you get credit.
I think so.
But,
Yeah. I don't know if it's sassafras or sarsaparilla, but one of them was at some point in the late 19th century, early 20th century, maybe the 40s. So maybe I'm talking mid 20th century. Was found to cause cancer in rats, and so they
sarsaparilla was.
It was the one part of the like one chemical part of, I don't know if it was sarsaparilla or sassafras, and so that's when they moved to doing almost entirely sort of artificial flavors. You can still do that authentic thing, authentic flavor if you extract that one bit of it whatever chemical it was out of the drink, because that chemical is now banned by the FDA.
So what you should do, like considering that
natural flavor is not always good for you.
I know. Well, what you should do, since you don't normally give the girls soda, when you do give them soda, you should just give them Moxie.
Oh, that's a grand idea.
And they'll be like, ugh, soda's gross.
They'll be
and they
soured
won't
on
want
it
to.
for life.
Although there's some soda here, girl.
Their great-great-grandfather, he was a Moxie drinker, as many men of his generation probably were.
Like any of Ted Williams' generation.
Yeah. Well, and they were Mainers, right? I mean, Mainers for most
Maine
of their life.
and Massachusetts.
Maine and old people.
Yeah.
Moxie. Like if there was a Venn diagram, you got a circle over here for Maine, circle over here for old people, right in the middle. That is your prime Moxie category. Prime real estate for the Moxie Corporation or whoever it is that makes.
I think actually local Coke distributors, or not cocaine like Coca-Cola, distribute Moxie at this point.
Yeah, probably. One of the things I'm a huge fan of
cocaine.
That too. No, I'm a huge fan.
I like how I'm really just like setting you up to just have this terrible drug habit that you don't have.
Yes. Well, I mean, I had 2 glasses of wine at the book out barbecue cookout.
Book out. You were reading and drinking wine.
I had 2 glasses of wine
outdoors.
at the cookout yesterday before the food was served, and I was a much more fun person to be around. So I don't know, maybe some cocaine might do the trick. Oh, such better burps this week.
This one's a good one.
You got a good Sierra Nevada, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a good burp. Like
good burp beer.
It's got great burposity.
All right. Where was I?
You were drinking wine at the cookout.
I was drinking wine. No, it was before that. I got off on I got horribly off topic.
Did you hurt yourself?
No, it sounded like I did, though.
Yeah, that's what... You need some cocaine to make it feel better?
Make it feel better. I don't know where I was. It was... you mentioned the cocaine.
Cocaina.
Cocaine. I'm a big fan.
Of cocaine.
No. I'm a big fan of this YouTube show called See You Real Soon, which is these two, this couple, a husband and wife from New Hampshire, who go to...
Is it like SEA, the letter U, and then it's like a movie reel, and then that clock with like someone tapping their wrist or something like that?
It's close. It's CSEE, U spelled the normal way, real spelled the way you said it, REEL, as if it were a movie reel. See You Real Soon, and it's like a Disney vacation blog. It's basically what it is. These two, they're married, they're younger, they don't have any kids yet. They are apparently both in jobs that make them a decent amount of money, and they go to Disney World an awful lot. And I stumbled across it. I don't know if it was before or after I went to Disney World last summer. I don't know. It makes me happy. Everyone who knows me knows that it takes
They specifically go to just Disney?
Yes.
They don't go to other amusement parks?
I'm sure they go to other... I'm sure they do other things with their lives, but their YouTube blog is just about their trips to Disney World.
No, but like... I'm kind of OCD in my life, and I understand having like a regiment and like, doing things like a certain way. And I understand, like, people that have that sort of thing in them. But, like, to take the same vacation, like, every time...
There's so much to do at Disney World. That's the thing. Okay, anyway, I don't want to debate that. You are a master debater. There are very few things that make me happy consistently, and this stupid YouTube show makes me happy. So,
I just want them to go to like Cedar Point or maybe Six Flags or...
That's not their show. It's called See You Real Soon because that's what Mickey said. Mickey Mouse said, see you real soon. Good. No, so that's their thing. That's what they do. And I bring all of this up because we were talking about Moxie. And one of the things that I did not do last year when I was there was visit this place that these guys visit all the time at Epcot. And it's called Club Cool. And inside Club... Man, we got to find a way to translate Steve's facial expressions into some sort of audio.
If you have to call it Club Cool, it's not cool.
No, but it's all right. So Club Cool has these four. It looks like 4 or 5 different, and I'm probably off there. Some Disney scholar can correct me. 4 or 5 different soda vending machines, and they're all from across the world. So you've got Inca Cola, which I think is a Mexican Coca-Cola product
with extra cocaine.
Extra cocaine. My friend John Martin was a huge fan of Inca Cola for a while. I think when he went to South America, picked up a taste for it, and you were able to order it online for a while. I don't know if you still can. Anyway, at Club Cool, you've got things from all over the place, and among the things that they have been shown to try is a thing called Vegeta Beta.
Good.
It sounds terrible, but I really like that. That is number one on my list of things to do the next time I go to Disney World is to try this. What sounds like an absolutely disgusting drink. Best thing, free, all free. You get like a Dixie cup sized whatever, and you can try as many of these as you want. So there aren't many things in Disney World that are free in terms of beverages and whatnot. So
you just sit at Epcot and drink soda.
Well, I mean, from what I gather, most of them are kind of gross to the American palate. So it wouldn't be like a do it all day thing. It would be all right, I'm a little thirsty.
Do it until you can't stomach it anymore.
Until I can't stomach it no more. No more.
One of the things that bothers me, and I probably brought this up before, but who cares? I mean, it's probably been a year at least. But you know how they have
I care, Uncle Steve.
Don't call me Uncle Steve. Part 2.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Those soda machines that they have, that like the Coke machines that you can do
freestyles.
Yeah, you can just push a couple of buttons and it gives you you can have Sprite with cherry flavor.
Oh, they're so delectable.
Or whatever. How is it that OK Soda was made by the Coca-Cola Corporation back in the early 90s?
Back in the day.
All the things that are in OK Soda are in that soda machine.
Yes.
How do you not have a button on there
that says OK Soda?
Yeah. How do you not just have it just program change the program slightly?
Yeah.
All the ingredients are there. Mm-hmm. Just have a button there and see how it does. If it does well, maybe bring it back to the freaking masses.
That maybe they're just waiting for a certain saturation point.
Because they brought back fucking Surge. I didn't want to swear too loud.
But not OK Soda.
Yeah.
They don't still make it at all anywhere, right? Like you can't.
No, it's. I mean, I think there's a recipe online to make it, but I don't want a recipe. I want it.
Yeah. You don't think you could be inventive enough to figure it out yourself? You couldn't sort of mix a little bit of this, a little bit of that?
I could. I mean, I don't have a restaurant or anything of my own, but I did, I'd try.
So the next time you go to Five Guys, or I think Burger King has, the next time you go to one of those places.
It's been 20 years since I've had it. How the hell am I going to remember what it tastes like?
All right. Well, you'd have to bring the recipe as a cheat sheet. Get it offline, get it off the internet, and sort of have it with you on your phone. And next time you find yourself in front of a Coca-Cola freestyle machine, just be like, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. What did OK Soda taste like? Because I can't remember. It didn't
have a distinguishable taste any particular time you drank it. Every time you drank it, it kind of tasted a little bit different.
Interesting.
Which I think may have been on purpose, but may not have been on purpose. But when it went out on the initial launch, it was in we were one of the test markets, which is why we got it. So it never got beyond the test market phase.
Right.
So New England got it for a little bit, and I remember traveling out to Colorado back in 96.
Yeah.
And then at that point they were the test market.
Okay.
And I picked up a couple of 12 packs and brought them back.
I don't. Maybe it's because I just started college. I remember you guys drinking them and having them around. Maybe when I was coming back or in high school.
No, in high school, you were still in high school in 94, right?
Okay, yeah. So yeah.
So that 94, 95, I think was when it was out here.
Yeah, I remember the marketing for it, or if not marketing, the buzz around school and people having it, but it was never a thing I did. I got into Jones Soda a little bit later. I don't know if that's still around.
I don't know either. I haven't seen it in a while. I remember back when I was living down south, they had that on the shelves, but I haven't seen it.
Panera Bread.
Market Basket.
Panera Bread had it for a while. Like that was they had them on display. I don't know if that was before they had soda machines of their own or if they had it concurrent with that, but they had them on display for a while, and that's where I would always get them. And then I remember they were doing like weird flavors, and you'd find them in like Target or Walmart.
You get like
the
the
holidays.
bacon flavor, or like
God,
just like when they make those jelly beans that have like the Harry Potter ones. Oh, this is a booger flavor.
Yeah,
Like I don't know. I like my own boogers. Thank you.
I don't need booger flavored every flavor beans.
It's I'm gonna admit something to you here.
Okay. All right.
I like picking my nose when I'm driving.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't usually dig it out and just start
yeah.
munching away or anything
Right.
like that gross. But I feel like I'll dig one out and I'll
if
flick
there's one
it.
sitting right
I'll flick
there.
it at the floor.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's my car. If you don't want to be in my car because there's boogers around, then I don't like you much anyways.
No. It's. I mean, people got to take you as you are. Take you as you are.
Yeah. So raise your freak flag and say I like picking my nose while I'm driving.
I'll go. Maybe I can one up you. I will do the nose picking, but one thing that I found myself doing as I've gotten older
Is putting in your butt afterwards.
no, is that I'm annoyed by nose hair. Like I'm annoyed by hair pretty much everywhere. I get hair in my ears, hair in my nose. Like it's
my
just
ear hairs like
so aggravating.
I pluck them whenever I can.
I will pluck the nose hairs while I'm in the car.
I have a trimmer for my nose hairs.
I have a trimmer, but the trimmer.
You just gotta dig it in there.
Frigga.
Right on the ones on the side here that I'm pointing to, near your septum. Isn't that the area in between your nostrils? So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like those ones are a pain. Those ones you have to really dig in.
You have to really dig. I have a trimmer, and it doesn't seem to want to recharge anymore. So it's finally dying after
get a
couple
new
of
one.
years.
Like
I know. They're
$10.
$10. I'm poor. I'm a teacher.
Listen, you probably spent more than that on soda.
On soda? Maybe.
Yeah, just drink tap water for a week and you'll have enough for a nose trimmer. It's really, but I will. Like, there's a certain satisfaction in like my eyes watering as I get that nose hair right out. Like, I just pluck it right out. Ugh. Well, that's how, I think that's how some actors try to get a little waterworks going. They
pluck
a nose hair or two.
It's a good tactic. I mean, you're probably not supposed to be doing it. You're probably not supposed to pluck the nose hair.
Well, the thing is, they're important. They're when a whale has the baleen and it just filters out all the garbage and then
baleen in my nose. Is that
it's basically it's filtering the stuff that we breathe in and keeping it in there and turning it into boogers, which is why you're not supposed to eat them because you're eating dirt and crap.
Yeah.
But it's good to flick them away.
Right.
So those nose hairs are collecting things and making them into boogers.
They are protecting you from what I heard
from yucky stuff by turning it into yucky stuff.
Yes. I read and I saw an infographic and yesterday
this is like me pulling things out of my ass. I don't know if that's actually
the more you know.
Really, Professor Steve? That's what boogers are for?
Where the hell was it? I saw an infographic the other day, and then I tried to pull it up to show Stephanie yesterday in terms of your nose protecting you from yucky stuff. That living in Beijing, breathing the air in Beijing is the equivalent of smoking 40 cigarettes a day.
Wow.
40 cigarettes.
I'm glad I don't live in Beijing, and I'm glad I don't smoke anymore.
Donald Trump's opinion on the air in Beijing. He says that the concept of global warming was created by and for the Chinese in order to make the U.S. manufacturing non-competitive.
No, Al Gore invented global warming.
And the internet.
To sell documentaries. Right?
First he invented the internet so that there would be a global distribution platform to sell his documentaries.
Yes.
Then he invented global warming.
No, basically it was a PowerPoint presentation that was going around, and then they made a documentary about him making the PowerPoint presentation about how global warming is terrible.
Al Gore did not invent PowerPoint.
We're in a lucky summer day because it's sort of a rainy day.
Yes.
Perfect day to sit in and do a podcast, but it's actually kind of cool today.
It is kind of cool.
It's not for late August we're doing okay in New England, although the air has been laden with humdiddy.
Still one of my favorite episode titles of recent memory. Laden with Humduddy is hard to top. I don't know when we'll get there. I mean, and then it came. What was last week's? And then it came right out of your.
No,
right
and then it
your
went
butt.
right up your nose.
Went
Because
right
you're
up
a
your
coke
nose.
addict.
Yes, we were talking about my coke habit last week.
Yes, that was where I was getting.
That's where it started. Did you just mention birthdays?
Yes,
You mentioned birthdays.
I did. I don't know if I did.
So you said something earlier that made me think we were going to talk about it then, but we didn't. One of the people in this room had a birthday recently.
Yes, it was me, and it was. This year was not as bad as last year. If you are an avid listener of the show, listen to episode I think 3 or 4.
3 or 4, yeah.
Is where I had my my birthday breakdown, or my about to have a birthday breakdown.
Your annual tradition.
Yes, I mean, but this year it was very much better than last year. I don't know if because like last year it was a month long like workout fest and like flip out, and then we would do the show once a week.
Yes,
and but this year, I only had I think it was 2 days ish that I was really kind of
a month to 2 days. That's
that
good.
like and I gotta thank Becky for being
Yeah.
one of the best girlfriends I've ever. Well, not one of the best girlfriend I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, that's it's amazing what a good partner can.
And she also got me an amazing present.
Oh,
I'm not gonna say what it was.
yes.
But
You told me beforehand.
It was
yeah.
really great.
That's. I mean,
I have some work to do.
right. Well, but it's that sort of thing that I find like the perfect physical gift like means that much more when you've also been getting the sort of emotional support that you get all the year round or however many months it's been or whatever that like. For somebody who's like fucked up, like you're fucked up, or like I'm fucked up,
don't mind. Like we're all fucked up in our own little ways.
In our own little ways. But having that person there that can sort of like, in your case, very very like year over year, take you from 30 days panic around your birthday to just a couple days of panic around your birthday. Like you're never going to fully eliminate that panic.
Yeah, I mean, like each year it's going to be a little bit harder, but having somebody that's there to support you, it's really great.
Right. And then when that person also knows like just what gift to get you.
Yes,
like,
and also like
you're like, what?
It's like what only like, I sort of had an inkling, but I wasn't like like maybe not, but then I was just like, this is great. And it was a great birthday like itself. Mm-hmm. We went out to a place in Burlington. I'll do a little local plug. Yeah. For this place, it's Tex-Mex, but it's also like they have Cajun stuff. It's called Border Cafe. It's down.
Well, I think I've heard of it.
It's down near the mall in Burlington, Massachusetts, not Vermont.
Not Vermont.
Although Burlington, Vermont's a cool little town.
I can imagine. No, I have been there. I have been there once. It's a neat little town. I took a rock polisher of a flight from Boston to Burlington.
Oh, I forgot.
Once upon a time.
I have something to talk about. Like last week.
Just one thing?
No, I have more than that. But last week we recorded on Thursday.
Yes.
But I went to my buddy's improv show the next day, which the reason why I didn't plug is because the show would have aired after the show.
Yep.
But yeah, I went to my buddy's improv show. He does stuff at Improv Boston. Mm-hmm. I think it's over there in Kendall Square in Cambridge. I guess Improv Cambridge might have been taken, or maybe Boston is more recognizable to the mass world outside. Right. I mean, people know that Harvard's in Cambridge, right? People know that MIT's in Cambridge, right?
Yeah, but they just say Boston.
Okay.
And anything in and around Boston becomes Boston.
Okay, so yeah, well, it's in between. Actually, this place is in between. It's in Harvard and MIT.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even Worcester is Boston when a band is coming through. They don't say,
"Oh, we're going to go Boston."
Worcester. No, they say, "Hey, Boston."
I don't know. They might say as far west as Worcester.
Yeah, some bands will, but like a national act might have no idea how far Worcester is from Boston. They've been on the road for however many damn days, and they're just like, "Thank you, Boston."
But I think his improv group is Ghost Logic.
Okay.
I might be wrong, but I think it's Ghost Logic. If he listens, then he can send an email and say, "You're fucking wrong, idiot." If not, then he'll be like, "Thank you for the plug."
Right.
So yeah, I went to the show, but before the show, we were meeting up to have a little bit of a bite, and then we went. And this is going to be a bad plug. So, just for this particular place at this particular time, I've been there before and I've had good experience, but this one experience was in fact bad. So we went to the tavern on the square, which there are several around. To get something to eat before he went on to do a show. He had like a 6:30 call time, so it was about 5:45. So we figured we had enough time to go and get something to eat.
Yeah.
And he could scoot a little bit early if we needed to settle up with the bill and drop some cash down and leave if need be. So we got there and the girl was like, "Hey, man," there was nobody in there. Which is surprising on a Friday afternoon / almost evening.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, whatever. So she's like, do you mind if you sit? We sit you in the back. We're like, sure, that's fine. Sit us weirdos in the back.
Yeah, I gotta keep you out of eye.
No, I said that out loud. I didn't just think it.
Gotta keep you out of you.
So yeah, well, we weren't that far in the back, but because there was plenty of wait staff that was walking around nearby, which we would continually make eye contact with.
Oh no.
And so we were waiting for a while, maybe 5-10 minutes, and we're like, it's surprising no one's come over yet.
It's a little surprising.
So I mean, like, I don't know if we were that much of a jerk to the hostess,
Yeah.
like, with that one offhand comment I made, but like, whatever. So we were waiting another 5, and it's getting close to 6:00.
Yeah.
And so it was probably about 5 of, and we're like, we had been there for about 15 minutes, and we're like, I don't think they're going to come over.
Yeah.
But let's give them 5 more minutes. Just we'll give them to 6:00 even.
Right.
There's a burger place up the street that we can order, and then we'll have a burger in like a second.
Yeah.
Not a second, but like, it's not like a McDonald's, but it's, like we talked about before, one of those high-end burger joints.
Yeah, there are enough of them around that you run into this.
It was literally three doors down.
3 doors down
from where we were. Ooh, like that band. That's awesome. So yeah, we were just sitting, and sure enough, no one comes by.
No one comes by.
So we get up to leave, and I don't know if it was Mike or Dave that was like, how much do you want to bet they thank us for coming? And I'm like, I'm not taking that bet because I know they're going to do it.
Right, yeah.
They're going to be like, thanks for coming in. Yeah, no problem. And like, if Mike didn't have that show, we probably would have like had some food and then gone back just to see, like, and with one more person, just to see if they would have remembered us from like 30 minutes prior.
Yeah, yep.
And if we had gotten the same treatment. I was watching, like,
there are bars in Portsmouth because that's where in the last 10 years or so where I've gone out more than others,
because you've gone out before and or after shows.
Yeah, and there are places there that I've gone to, and I won't name check them because who knows if they've gotten better or worse over the course.
But this was an isolated incident. I've had good experiences at many of their locations. Yeah. But it was just dumb. Maybe the hostess just forgot to tell whatever server that this was a person that is these people are in your section. Can you please like serve them? Yeah, or at least talk to them for a second.
There was at least one instance where I had a call time and I was sitting there and I was waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting and like, man, I thought I had enough time to get something here, and I forget what I ended up having to do. I probably went to Dos Amigos, which was always the old standby and always did good food, and they were right by the theater. So that's probably what I ended up having.
Why you keep on having diarrhea before your show?
Well, or after the show, or during the show.
Be like,
that's what
I am in the middle of a line and I have to shit.
To be or not to.
You were doing Shakespeare?
Yes. No, I've never done Shakespeare, with the exception of one college class. That's the one time I did a Shakespeare performance.
Which one did you do?
Oh, and that's not true. I did something in high school very briefly. We did a 10 or 11 minute version of The Tempest for my Shakespeare acting class.
Wow, yes. That's great.
Where I was, and I'm not being modest here. I was the least talented. I'm not saying that I was the worst, but I was the least talented actor in the class because I was in a class that was only being offered once every 3 or 4 semesters. So all of the most talented actors were in it, and I just happened to sneak in because there was one spot left. I'm in the class with the most talented actors in the school, and they decide that I'm going to play Prospero, which is the lead, the most lines. They're like, "Yeah, Chris will do it." Like,
were they just messing with you, or
no, it wasn't that they were messing with me. They were all being lazy at the end of the spring semester. They all had other shit to do, and they were just like, Chris can do it.
Oh, good.
I was like, thanks.
I would have been like, hey, you guys are a bunch of crumb bums.
Yeah. But.
Okay, but I don't know. We were watching, actually today, this afternoon, before I came here, we were watching that Gordon Ramsay Kitchen Nightmares show.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Have you ever seen it?
No, I mean, I can imagine.
It's one of those reality TV shows that I don't mind, but I get uncomfortable watching. Like, I like the pawn shop one.
Yeah.
And this one I'm okay with because, like, this is like, it is a real life and he is helping people.
Right.
So it's not like they're like, here are these terrible people that we're showing you and they're not redeemable. Here's a show where, like, it's just a restaurant that's gone into disarray. It's just shitty, but they want to have help. And this famous chef comes in and says, okay, your restaurant's shitty, but, we're going to fix it.
Right.
So, I mean, he may be an asshat and, may yell a lot, but he is doing a good thing.
Yeah.
And so they were at this place in Colorado, like, I forget where it was called. It was the old neighborhood restaurant and bar.
The old neighborhood Rocky.
I think it was actually called the old neighborhood restaurant and bar, something like that.
All right.
It's right across the street from a Target in Colorado. I don't know.
Good old Target.
So yeah, they. I don't know. It was just bad, and the thing is,
the episode was bad, or the restaurant?
No, the restaurant was bad.
Okay,
but like the thing is, like we've gone to places where, like, because Becky watches it more than I do.
Yeah,
and she's just like, this place needs to be on Kitchen Nightmares because it was just like service is a big thing, and like. I don't know, especially if you've been doing it for a while. And she worked as a server. We went to this place that's close to where she lives, and it was just like the decor was terrible, which I liked because I like shitty places.
Yeah.
But she was like, for a restaurant, she's like, okay, I'll give you if this is just a hole in the wall bar.
Right.
The decor is fine, but for a restaurant, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
But
there was that period where
and the service
all of the bars,
just
I mean, not all of the bars, but like all of the restaurants, your Applebee's, your Chili's, every one of the restaurants in kind of that category, their whole aesthetic was tons of shit on the wall,
kitschy crap,
just tons and tons and tons of it.
The thing is, like, we had breakfast this morning. We went to the Friendly Toast, not the one in Portsmouth, but the one in the city. In Cambridge, near where the
near MIT, right?
Yeah, near the movie theater.
Yeah,
the independent movie theater, not like the major motion picture movie theater.
Yeah,
and they have a bunch of like really odd kitschy crap on the walls, but not like here's Chewbacca and then here's a surfboard.
Right.
It's like this weird like terrible painting of a cat and like this hamburger coming out of the wall that looks like sort of like Mary McCheese but sort of not, and it's like staring at you and it's creepy, creepy kitschy crap on the walls.
Yeah.
And it works for that place, and they have really good food. Like I had pumpkin pancakes, and it got me like psyched for the fall. Yeah.
It's about time to be psyched for the fall.
Yeah, we both. She had a bite, and she was like, "This is so good."
Yeah, I'm ready for summer to be over and pumpkin. Well, I know some.
That's one good thing about my birthday rolling around means that the fall's almost here. Like when I was a kid, I used to dread my birthday in a different way.
Right.
Because like, I kind of like when you're younger, you kind of want to be older.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, when we're kids, it's like you're my birthday and your brother's, like when they rolled around, we'd just be like, oh crap, school's like a week away, especially your brother. Like, like be like, okay, here's Labor Day, and then oh crap, we're back at school.
and these days, some kids are actually going to school on my brother's birthday.
yeah, like in August, which blows my mind.
Right. which is just
Well, I mean, I think the whole reason was like
snow days and
well,
whatnot.
that. But like the thing is, the municipalities. I think the reason why there was a summer vacation was that we already ran the heat all winter. Let's not have another season where we have to run the AC all summer.
Did any of the when did they start actually having ACs? Because that might have been a whole thing too. Because I don't know. I recall the schools getting hot and not. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I recall.
I don't know if schools actually have air conditioning. I think that might be the thing.
Yeah. Or if they do, they have very.
Because I don't remember there ever being an air. I mean, we grew up here in Chelmsford, and it's a pretty high end town.
Yeah, I don't recall air conditioning.
I don't remember there ever being air conditioning in the school.
I mean, maybe they've been retrofitted at this point. Maybe the high school had it, but I don't know about the elementary school.
I think it was a fan and a breeze coming in.
Yeah.
If it was, so I think that's why why summer vacation exists.
Right, yeah, because I think it's a fiscal thing.
Yeah, more so than giving these kids a well-needed break.
Kids, a break, because
they could probably do like a month break.
They could. I
think that's what they do in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, based solely on my reading of Harry Potter books, it seems as though their summer breaks are a little bit shorter than ours.
The Brits or the Wizards.
Since the Wizards school is based on the British school calendar, I imagine it's similar.
Okay, so here's something that always kind of bothered me about Harry Potter and Hogwarts. It's like they're just learning about wizardry stuff. Are they learning like the history of wizards?
They do have a history of magic class.
But are they also learning about like the history of like the regular world? Like the non-wizard.
Well,
world.
The people who take Muggle studies.
But that's just like, oh, here's a car and like a broom.
Yeah.
They have brooms.
They have brooms.
But they have brooms, but they don't use them for being brooms. They use them to fly around.
Yeah, no. Or if they do, they enchant the broom to do it itself.
Yeah. So, but like, do they learn mathematics? Like
arithmancy.
Stop it.
Arithmancy, that's one of the classes that Hermione took in the third book when they had to start picking electives, and she took way too many of them. Arithmancy was one of the ones she took.
That when she was like going back in time?
Spoilers, Steve!
Shut up! The book is over 10 years old.
Yes, and I think that's one of the ones she continued to take, because she was taking arithmancy, care of magical creatures, Muggle studies, which everyone thought was ridiculous because she was a Muggle, or she was from a Muggle family, and the fortune-telling one. And she dropped the fortune-telling one and Muggle studies. Yeah, so she kept taking arithmancy, and all the other kids were like, what the fuck's arithmancy?
So, but like... is that just like learning how to use your wand as a calculator or something? Being like, wand, tell me what the square root of pi is.
Yeah, like Dividicus totalis.
Will it just do arithmetic on your paper for you?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, there's like anti-cheating ink and anti-cheating quills and parchment and things like that. You know what I didn't get?
All right.
We just started...
What didn't you get?
It's not that I didn't get, but we just started rewatching it as a family. My mom has never seen all 8 of the films. And so the other night we started watching the first one, and
Harry Potter.
The first 2 are directed by Chris Columbus,
who also directed Pixels.
Yes. And there might be something to be said for the quality of Chris Columbus movies just based on that correlation.
What else did he do? Like besides the first couple of Harry Potters?
Did he do Goonies? Is Goonies his?
I thought that was Spielberg.
Spielberg produced it, but it might have been Chris Columbus who directed it.
Well, then Goonies is one of his greater achievements.
Or maybe that was Zemeckis. I don't know. I know
Bob Zemeckis did.
He was doing the Back to the Futures. Yeah. At any rate, Chris Columbus, I think, earlier in his career had some good stuff. I think when he gets to Harry Potter, he very much focuses on the kid,
You're
the
a wizard,
adolescent.
Harry.
Yeah. But what's really interesting watching that first one and knowing we haven't watched the second one yet, is the aesthetic is very much like Victorian England, like that. The wizard thing, wizard world is like Victorian England never stopped. That's the way it's all designed. And in addition to that, they all wear their hats in the first two movies. And I think there's the implication in the books that they all wear their hats for a little while longer. But once Chris Columbus is done, Alfonso Cuarón comes in for The Prisoner of Azkaban, the third movie, which is, I think, the best of at least the first half of the series, if not the entire series. The hats are gone. All of the Victorian England sort of crap that they were all wearing, that's all gone. The guy who
They were extreme wizards instead.
Professor Flitwick, instead of being a tiny man with a white beard and frizzy white hair, is now a guy with like a severe part down the middle of his head and not the Hitler mustache, but just a mustache. Looks like a completely different character.
Well, they just changed his style a little bit.
Yeah, they changed his style. It's just such a strange change from the first two to the remaining.
Well, didn't they had to change Dumbledore's at that point as well?
They did change Dumbledore's at that point, yeah.
Because the first one died.
Because the first one died, yeah.
Sorry, Harry, I died before I died in the books.
Spoilers, Steve!
Snape kills Dumbledore. You should name the episode that. For anybody that hasn't gotten around to it yet. I remember when the book came out.
When the book
like
came
the,
out.
the what is it, the Half-Blood Prince, the sixth book?
Yes, sixth book. Yeah.
I remember when that book came out, the internet was everywhere you turned was Snape kills Dumbledore.
Yeah, everywhere. I remember reading, not that book, but the last book. The seventh book came out just before Stephanie's family takes a camping trip every year. And the seventh book came out just before that camping trip. I burned through that thing faster than anybody else. I was done it before the camping trip started.
I burned through that faster than cream corn goes through the new maid.
And I was laden with all sorts of humdiddy as I went on that camping trip. I wanted to talk to somebody
thinking about the
it.
Ron Hermione like hot and heavy situation.
Oh man, I had so much to talk about and nobody to talk about it with because I had gotten through it and everyone else in the family was reading it. Except for Stephanie. Stephanie was rereading her Robert Jordan books at this point.
I still from last year because I started I think I started the first one
right
when I went on my little trip up to Canada to visit Leo.
Yep. I remember.
I'm on the fourth book now.
Are you were doing them with Audible or were you doing them a combination?
I did one with Audible and then I canceled. I got the one free with Audible.
Right, and then went back to just.
And then I
them.
canceled my Audible.
Yeah.
And then I've been reading the other ones, and I read so incredibly slow, and I read in bed, so it turns into sleeping.
Yeah. I mean, that's how the world-renowned creative writing instructor. I fall asleep when I read. If I read anywhere near bed, if I read in a comfortable chair because reading actually relaxes me. Which
I'm just I'm literally an older person than I was, but I just fall asleep so easily nowadays. I don't stay asleep.
No, me
like
too.
when I've gotten up again, it's impossible for me to get back to sleep.
Yeah.
But when it's really easy for me to fall asleep that initial time.
Yeah. It's like that with me as well. And then I I should just get up. This morning I was up at 6 to go to the bathroom and I went back to bed and I laid there for 3 hours, tossing and turning and letting about 10 different
Farts
things
out?
I was anxious. Oh. That too.
That was me this morning. That's another reason why I have the best girlfriend ever, because she tolerates my flatulence.
That's a good title. She tolerates my flatulence.
All right, let's deal with that
one. So it was the camping trip. I had read the seventh book. Stephanie was reading Robert Jordan. Everyone else was reading it at different paces. The younger of my two brothers-in-law, he finished first, and so he and I were talking about it the rest of the trip. And then I think eventually my sister-in-law finished it, and then there were three of us were talking about it, but Stephanie was still off reading Robert Jordan and asking us not to spoil it. But it was
talking about Aes Sedai.
God, I can't get into those books. I try to understand it, and it's similar to me. Like, I read all the Terry Brooks, the ones that were out at that point. I think the first 7 of Terry Brooks's Shannara books, and now I try to. They seem completely impenetrable to me. They're doing an MTV series of the Shannara books, and I don't get
I want them to actually do like a television series of the Wheel of Time. I think it would actually be really great.
Yeah,
but like Game of Thrones is still happening.
Yes,
and
well, I mean, I think
figured
that's why
Showtime might try to pick it up.
I think that's why MTV is doing Shannara. Is that Game of Thrones is on? MTV is doing like their teenage version of, or like not teenage, but like late teens, early 20-something version of the same thing. I don't know. I mean, I get it, but I don't know. I find Game of Thrones compelling. Although every time I try to pick up the books, I find them impenetrable. So, who knows? Maybe
perhaps if you get some sort of cannoneer.
Perhaps. There was a big, thick tome that came out last year, and I remember reading some of the controversy, because Martin himself didn't write as much of it as the two people who run like his fan wiki that has his blessing, but they are apparently not, at least in the opinion of some of the people who were making it controversial, like those two people aren't as great writers as Martin, and they were kind of like, why are those people allowed to write this book? They're just fans, blah, 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 blah.
It's amazing what like people in a fandom can do. Like, there's a dude that is on the One Piece podcast. There you go.
Drink!
45 minutes in. That lives in Japan, and he's not on all the time because it's like a show for us folks in the States,
right?
But he has actually been able to interact with the author, and he's a very elusive individual, and he's actually been able to interact, and they're actually on friendly terms at this point.
Yeah.
So it's amazing what you can do in your fandom to like actually interact with the people that you idolize.
Yeah, I wish I had a fandom that would write my wiki for me. Here's the thing:
do we have a fandom besides Brian and
no,
a couple other folks?
There are some podcasts that have had wikis, stuff that I've listened to, and I found that to be amazing. But I mean, I try to keep our notes copious enough that if I wanted to find a particular episode, I could go find it. But for my own, my fictional stuff, which mostly takes place in the same world, I have often wanted to come up with a sort of wiki that explains how everything's connected. And I'm like, first of all, who am I writing this for? Because I don't have a huge fan base yet. The fans I do have, I love, and
Is this your VAX 11 instruction sheet?
No. But second of all, it's not really a wiki unless it's a community thing. So I guess I want to write an encyclopedia or a cannoneer or whatever for my own.
You want to be the Clarkivist.
The Clarkivist. I do. You mentioned it. We're 45 minutes in.
We did not talk about any of the news stuff, and we did not talk about you camping at all.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of going towards me camping when I mentioned that's what used to happen was we used to read Harry Potter books, but
I don't think we have enough time to talk about it. We can talk about it next week if you want.
Yeah, no,
but we should definitely get into news, because that's a good 15-minute chunk.
Yeah, because all I would really say about the camping was that I didn't have the internet, and that people who manufacture apps should take that into consideration. Because
especially my damn One Piece app when I'm like trying to play it and I'm like, no, you have to connect to the internet.
I had a game that I couldn't play because I wasn't connected to the internet. It was a puzzle game, a word puzzle game. And I use the MyFitnessPal app.
And you can't connect to that either.
So MyFitnessPal could connect. It grabs my steps from the step counter that's built into the phone.
Yeah.
But it would show them, but then it could not convert the steps into calories without an internet connection.
My
that's
pedometer that I have from my Wii can do that with just like a watch battery.
Yeah.
You'd think that a phone app could do that.
Anyway, so the rest of the stuff for the camping was I mean, possibly interesting, but I don't need to go over it. because I had no internet connection, that meant that I listened to a lot of podcasts. I finally caught up on that. I did not catch up on Wet Hot American Summer.
Well, yeah, because he couldn't.
Because I had no friggin' internet. Yeah. But yes, let's spend the last 10 minutes now, or 15 minutes, or however long it takes.
So, Robin, what's in the news?
well, there, Howard.
Ooh.
So, apparently, Jared Fogle.
Of course.
Jared Fogle,
the first one you're going to
the Subway pitchman. Apparently, he is going to be getting a different kind of footlong.
See, I really was hoping that you didn't make that joke because I did not want that joke made.
I did not.
Your dad made it earlier.
I know. I didn't.
It was the first joke I heard, like
Right.
when the whole thing came down.
So,
even my boyfriend Bill Burr made the joke, and I was hoping that he wouldn't.
It's such a tight. Like I made it because I feel like that's what we need to talk about, right? Because that's what the whole conversation is. So Jared Fogle is going to or has pled guilty to possession of child pornography,
and going on romps to meet up with underage
girls or boys, or has he?
I think it was girls.
Okay,
not that it really.
It doesn't.
The
matter.
gender doesn't matter, but it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So he's going to plead. He has or he's going to plead guilty. And of course, out come the prison rape jokes.
Yes.
Let
me just backtrack. When I say the gender doesn't matter, I don't mean that it's less bad for either of them. It's terrible for either.
Oh, that's what I got out of what you were saying.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that came across clear.
I think it's good that you explained it, but what I am in agreement with you that regardless of gender, it's bad for these kids.
Yeah.
No matter what. So of course the easy headline that's out there is
do you want a 6-inch or foot long?
You want a 6-inch or foot long because
in your butt because you're going to get raped.
He's going to get raped in prison by all the guys who believe in an eye for an eye or
But the thing is, like,
an asshole for an asshole in this case.
I'm not a fan of that sort of justice.
Yeah. Death penalty fan.
I'm not a death penalty fan.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. In the grand scheme of things, with my idea of having less people on the planet, I like the idea of the death penalty, but I don't like the idea. I mean, if I had to actually do this, if I had to, pull the
swab their arm with an alcohol swab. Before
if I had to actually do it,
lethally.
I don't think I could because that would make me feel like I was actually murdering somebody,
right?
Which, in fact, I am. And should I then be on trial for murdering somebody? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah. And of course, do the guys who,
morally slippery slope, not necessarily legally slippery slope.
Did the guys who then give Jared Fogle the 6-inch or the foot long, did they get charged for prison rape?
No, they don't. And but the thing is, it makes me nuts because that's one of the that's that and the fact that I don't really ever want to do anything really illegal. I mean, there's things that I'm like, why is this illegal?
Right.
And you could ride the line, be like, hey, I'm jaywalking. And in fact, I did that earlier today. I jaywalked. That's apparently not necessarily a jailable offense, but it is something that is
a finable offense.
A finable offense. Yeah. If a cop is around and he sees you doing it, that's illegal, and here's a ticket. But in speeding, that's also not. You're not supposed to go over X amount, and if you do, you get fined. And there's people that ride that line all the time, but there are the terrible things like rape or murder or grand larceny, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and he didn't want to do those things. But
then, you hear, you hear the story of Robin Hood about him being like, oh, there's a bunch of these rich assholes, and I'm stealing money, and this is a person of lore that people find to be great.
Yeah, redistribution of wealth.
I mean, I was actually watching, I fell asleep. Big surprise. Recently, I was watching that Now You See Me, the one with the magicians.
Oh, yes.
And they're basically stealing a bunch of money from rich people and giving it to poor people.
Yeah.
Which is a great concept. But it's still illegal. And then part of the movie is the FBI agent that's chasing them around, and they're like, oh, we're always a couple steps ahead of you, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But like, you know,
did you watch the end of it?
I didn't. I fell asleep.
Oh, okay. I won't spoil it for you.
Okay.
Because the end of it doesn't make. I mean, I've only seen the end of it once. I think I've seen the first 2/3 of it a few times. But the ending of it is that spoilers. Ruffalo's character is actually the one who hired them.
Really?
So the FBI agent who's chasing them the entire time is the one who is behind it all.
Oh.
I'm trying to wrap my head around it. But
well, that's fun.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. Now I know the end.
It's
well, where I fell asleep was where.
See, I thought, didn't you just say I could spoil it for you?
Yeah, you did. Okay, no, but that's great. Right. But where I fell asleep was when what's his butt's little brother there?
Affleck's?
No, not Affleck's little brother. The guy that was in Freaks and Geeks and all the Apatow movies or whatever.
Not Rogan. I don't know.
Whatever. The younger of the you know who I'm talking about if you've seen it. He's like in that big car chase.
Yes, I didn't know he was somebody's younger brother.
He's the guy that I can't think of his freaking name.
All right, Grace.
Oh God,
Grace, can you get on that? All right.
But there's this really exciting car chase scene that I managed to fall asleep in.
Yeah, it's a pretty good scene. Why did that come up? No, I can't remember.
We're talking about Jared Fogle.
Oh,
we're talking about crime.
Yes,
but like this is like, you know, criminals that were
Dave Franco.
So it's James Franco's little brother.
Okay, got it.
But yeah, so like, you know, those are criminals, but we find them to be good, even though they're doing bad things.
Yeah,
but like, no one's ever gonna say. But like, there's, you know, if you look at Dexter, that show about the guy that murders bad people.
Yeah, well, the Incredible Hulk does a hell of a lot of property damage in every Avengers movie that he shows up in, but we still find him to be heroic to some. Now, of course, in Avengers: Age of Ultron, he's not in his right mind when he causes all that property damage. But, you know, and those guys do all sorts of illegal things. I think there really is a dividing line between, you know, what is the reason for the crime. That's where, like, in popular culture, you know, we also have,
still, like,
at different
even
times, idolized, like, Billy the fucking Kid. Like, and you think about, if you went back and looked at the historical record and what Billy the Kid did, we probably shouldn't idolize the dude.
Well, he was a murderer. He killed people. Well, you know, anybody that kills somebody that, you know, isn't in a war, I suppose, is a murderer.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's probably a reason why I never joined the military, because I didn't ever want to kill anybody.
Right.
I mean, I've been angry at people, but I don't think I've ever gotten to that point where I'm like, I need this person dead.
There was a news story this week, and I'm shuddering to the fact
we're
that
avoiding the topic,
bringing it up. But the in terms of within your rights and whatever, is might have been in Lowell. A guy chases a couple of criminals out of his store and shoots at them, but they were already running away. And there was some debate about whether or not he was within his rights. And I think one of the bullets went through a neighbor's house. And of course, the neighbor was interviewed. I think the neighbor said, no, he was fully within his rights. But the cops were saying, like, look, they were already running away. It's not his responsibility.
Yeah, you are not law enforcement. I mean, if they were still on his... I think there was like a story more than a couple years ago at this point, that there was like some guy was getting robbed and like some people were on his property and he shot them dead.
Yeah.
Like... But I don't think he was. I don't think he was charged because they say it was his property.
Right.
And like,
but then to bring it all back, I mean, like, is that why we don't charge the guys who eventually are going to rape Jared Fogle? Because we think Jared Fogle has done something so heinous that he deserves to be. He deserves to be raped.
Well, the thing is, like, as far as the justice system goes, I mean, the whole point of it is to rehabilitate somebody, right? Theoretically, that's what it's supposed to be.
Or it might be for free labor.
So if someone has done a crime,
yes,
and we've determined that they're going to be in rehabilitation in prison for not life,
right?
They are eventually going to get out of prison,
right?
The point would be to make sure that these people don't do the thing that they did before again.
Right.
but I mean, a lot of times, and I keep on bringing it back to not rape, because that's something that, I mean, if someone is a criminal as far as like stealing stuff,
right?
Like getting them like some sort of education, getting them into a point where they can have a job and make a decent amount of money,
and they
don't feel like they need to go back to the criminal life that they had before.
Right.
But when a lot of times people get out of prison, they end up right back in because they're doing the same thing that they were when they went in.
And they're also stigmatized because they have a criminal record.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you have a criminal record, we won't hire you. So they end up like it's Ant-Man.
Yes. Thank you.
I saw
Marvel reference. Ant-Man. Yeah, I mean, he tries to go work at Baskin Robbins, and he has to falsify information just to.
And he ends up getting fired from Baskin Robbins because
and he ends
of his
up going
record.
back on another job. Breaking and entering, B&E.
But the thing is, like, if this is something that you cannot rehabilitate, if like this mental illness that he has, that he finds like young children attractive,
yes,
if this is not something you can fix, then he does need to be in prison forever.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, does he? So he needs to be in prison forever, as opposed to letting him out, putting him on the sexual predators list or whatever.
But yeah, but I mean, if we really want a public or a safe public, then.
But if we want to keep him in prison forever. I mean, now we have to. Now it's a public thing, right? We have to pay for that guy to be in.
But like the thing is, like, I don't know, is that something you can rehabilitate?
Yeah, I don't think that it is. I think people would say, psychologically speaking, they're always going to have. I mean, I think
if
I referenced it before.
If the law isn't enough to make him not do it,
right?
Then what's going to be different after he gets out of prison, like 10 years from now or whatever?
Right. I mean, there's that, and I referenced it.
If he gets out of prison, if like people haven't shanked him or raped him,
he's not being sent up for life. I mean, I think this is.
What I saw in the one article I think I read was that he was probably going to get a sentence of like 10 to 12 years.
Yeah. At any rate, should we get into the other one? I don't know if we're over an hour, but do we want to talk about the Ashley Madison thing? No?
Sure.
All right.
Let's do it. We'll give him a little bonus this week.
A little bit of bonus this week. So Ashley Madison, maybe I'll read this first one because it gives a little bit of the background. Should I read the title? Because I think that reading the title might give away where I'm coming from.
Let's avoid the title and just read a part.
I'm going to read the background information on what the hell
this
happened.
This is cold here. I have not heard this yet,
right.
So you're gonna get my natural reaction.
Okay, so anonymous hackers yesterday published a massive trove of data containing private information about roughly 33 million people from around the world. The data was hacked from the website Ashley Madison, which promotes itself as a pro-infidelity venue where married people can find sexual partners and, quote, have an affair, unquote. The data published by the hackers includes names, physical and email addresses, and credit card purchases provided by the users, along with whatever information they posted about their sexual desires and proclivities. The primary justification offered by the hackers was that this site was a scam. The hackers complained that most of the female profiles were fake, a claim that has some evidence, and that the site demanded a payment of $19.99 in exchange for the unfulfilled promise to permanently delete users' profiles and personal data.
So, okay, but like if their deal is, hey, we think this is a scam, let's publish all the names of the people that have been scammed. That's pretty crappy.
So this goes on, right? When the hackers,
when you're a person that is going to cheat, you are obviously you're a coward, or basically you're a coward. You were unable to speak to your significant other and say that you're unhappy in your relationship sexually.
Well, and there's more in here that might change your opinion on it, but go ahead. Yeah.
But I think that's the majority of people that do cheat, is that they just. But I imagine there are some that are on this website that are perhaps looking for like extramarital stuff with permission of their spouse.
Yes, I think that is part. However minor or percentage, I think that is part of it.
And so these people are like, they're not literally not doing anything wrong,
right?
Because if they have their spouse's permission,
right,
and it's just like they're I don't know, whatever.
Okay,
continue.
All right, so When the hackers last month announced their hack, they portrayed themselves as fraud-fighting vigilantes. They threatened to release all of the users' data unless the site owners removed the site completely. But there was also a significant component of sexual moralism to the hackers' self-described mission. In their original manifesto, they echoed the moral paternalism offered by Gawker's Max Reed to justify his site's outing of an obscure married financial officer of a magazine company. The hackers proclaimed, "Too bad for those men. They're cheating dirtbags and deserve no such discretion." In yesterday's statement announcing their data dump, the hackers directly lecture the users they were exposing with this sermon, quote, "Learn your lesson and make amends. Embarrassing now, but you'll get over it." That the cheating scoundrels of Ashley Madison got what they deserved was a widespread sentiment yesterday. Despite how common both infidelity and online pornography are, tweets expressing moralistic glee were legion. Websites created to easily enable searches of the hacked database by email address were set up. An Australian radio station offered to tell listeners on air if their spouse's name appeared in the database and informed one horrified woman caller that her husband's name did. So at this point, I can reveal the title of the article I'm reading for is "The Puritanical Glee Over the Ashley Madison Hack." And
so, where do you stand? I mean,
so
it is. I mean, don't get me wrong; it's shitty behavior. It's not
in almost every case, yes. But the point that you pointed to, where it wouldn't necessarily be called infidelity, where you've got some kind of a different
but still,
marital relationship.
Even so, I mean,
where you've agreed that you have an open marriage or whatever, but then that shouldn't be lumped in as infidelity, right? Because
because it is
because infidelity isn't the term of infidelity, meaning that you're going back on the agreements that you've made with your spouse.
So if you've spoken to your spouse and said we've amended like the Constitution,
right? That's a good point. Yes,
we've amended our agreement, and because like perhaps one member has less desire,
mm-hmm.
and if this has been but regardless of that, I mean, this is something that people paid for anonymity, and like they just wanted to do this, like even if like without the moral compass of either of us, because I don't agree with doing it.
I don't agree with doing it.
But if people want to do it, like people have been doing it for centuries, and this website's just like, well, we'll help you find somebody good that hopefully doesn't have a disease, maybe. But
the final bit of the article, and this may help explain where I'm coming from a little bit, is that I wanted to quote from Dan Savage. Are you familiar with Dan Savage?
Is he like one of those tinfoil hat guys?
No, he's a sex columnist, I guess, for lack of a better word.
So like Dr. Ruth? Yeah,
although you say maybe a little bit more progressive. I don't know. So
and less old.
This is from later on in the same article. In some cases, even it says even that form of adultery. But in some cases, adultery may not be unambiguously wrong or wrong at all. When the hackers first threatened last month to disclose their hack, Dan Savage asked a great question. How could someone be so furious at Gawker for outing one adulterer, which is the early reference thing. So how can somebody be so furious for outing, in this case, it was a...
But don't actually out them. Don't do it on our show, too.
But take pleasure in this Ashley Madison hack, which invades the privacy of millions. To make his case, Savage referred and Savage wrote this, quote, long-term marriage, like Glenn Greenwald says, is a complicated dynamic, and people invent all sorts of ways to manage that complicated long-term dynamic. And yes, cheating is one of the ways people manage that dynamic. It's not ideal. It would be great if everyone who felt compelled to cheat could either negotiate an open relationship or end the one they're in now.
Yeah.
But sometimes cheating is the least worst option. Slogging through the Savage Love mail. Savage Love is his podcast. and column for the last 25 years has convinced me of this. There are a lot of people out there who have good cause to cheat. Men and women trapped in sexless marriages, men and women trapped in loveless marriages, men and women who have essentially been abandoned sexually and or emotionally by spouses that aren't in a position to leave, either because their spouses are economically dependent on them or vice versa, or because they may have children who are dependent on both partners. Take a woman who has 2 children with special needs, who has been out of the workforce for 15 years, and who is financially dependent on a husband who decided 5 years into their marriage that he was, quote, done with sex, but refuses to allow her to have sex with anyone else. Their marriage is good otherwise. She and her husband have an affectionate, low-conflict relationship. Their kids are happy and well cared for, but sexual deprivation is driving her out of her mind and threatening both her marriage and her children's health and security. What would you advise this woman, whose letter, coincidentally enough, came in today's pile of email, to do? I would advise her to do just what she needs to do to stay married and stay sane. And until this morning, I might have advised her to join Ashley Madison.
Well, that or, like, I mean, I imagine with a divorce, she would probably get a decent amount of child support.
I would, possibly. I mean, if she were able to
alimony and child support. Well,
in that case, does she have to prove that he said that they wouldn't have sex for however, like why does she have to
don't know. So I don't know. I mean, like, this seems...
It's complicated.
Yes.
Right.
It's like that movie. It's complicated.
Most of it is
I've never
not.
seen and don't know who is in.
I don't know either. Most of it is not. Most of it is cut and dry wrong.
Yeah.
But some of it is complicated.
Yes. Let's do plugs and get the hell out of here.
Plugs. So right now, on sale for pre-order, the magazine that I do once a year called Geek Force 5 is out. And you can go to clarkwoods.com/geekforce5 2015, all one word. So geekforce5 2015, and pre-order in the format of your choice. It's an awesome thing. It's 5 stories, and most of the money goes back to the authors. I'm actually kind of in the hole right now because I've fronted all the money to pay them their contributors' copies and all this stuff.
So buy this damn book so he can actually be in the red.
I can
or in the black.
In the black. Yeah, I'm in the red right now. But yeah, it's an awesome collection of 5 short stories. Maybe I'll talk more about it next week when we got more time. So do that. You should also buy The Ape's Choice while you're at it.
Ape's Choice on iTunes, Google Play, Amazon Instant Audio, whatever the heck it is. You can get it there. TNS, The Ape's Choice. It was a labor of love of Dan, and then some contributions from myself.
Yes. And you can, when you're done doing that, you can tweet us on Twitter to tell us how much you enjoyed these wonderful things we just convinced you to buy. I am at ECC1977.
And I am at Tuesday is Loser. That's Tuesday IS Loser.
All one word.
Yes.
And of course, if you have any comments for us about the show, you can send us an email to hot@clarkwoods.com. And you can find the show notes for this episode at clarkwoods.com/hot//56.
Maji.
What is that? What is Maji?
Right. Call anytime.
Okay.